Hello, welcome to Learnery channel, and today we're taking a look at Patrick CC video on what he calls the pathetic life of internet alpha male. So if you are new to this channel, all we do is discuss important topics that affect our day-to-day life. So let's get into it.
A generation of lost young men turned to the internet looking for role models and instead found a cesspool of self-proclaimed alpha males ready to exploit them. These gurus preach confidence and discipline, but the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that their lives are nothing like what they sell. Behind the tough guy personas are men drowning in insecurity, fraud, lies, and desperation. Some of these guys claim to have the highest IQ on the planet, and others literally admit to doing meth to look more attractive. Today we're discussing the most notorious.
So the thing that don't sit well with me as a human being is when you try to impose your style of life to others and be like, if they don't do it your way, they will not succeed. Like we are all born in our own different way. We are all born to explore life differently. So I don't understand when people tend to force their lifestyle on you and say you must do so and so, you must be so and so to get to this, to get success or to achieve something in life.
One starting with King Azoulay, the alpha who pled guilty to sexual contact with a 15-year-old girl. Ben Azoulay essentially looked at Andrew Tate and said, I can do the same thing. Only Ben has less charisma and it is way less convincing when he lies, because his origin story is almost certainly completely made up. According to Ben, his mother came to America through the Mexican border to give birth to him. He spent his early childhood going between America and his mother's home country of Israel, before permanently settling in the United States at 10 years old. Ben claims that he began visiting a Chinese restaurant every day for lunch, where he was mentored by the restaurant's owner and trained in the art of kung fu. Ben, who barely
communicate in English easily, use Grammarly, and feel confident with effective
spoke English at the time, became the target of bullying at school and used his newly acquired martial arts skills to beat anyone and everyone up who disrespected him.
People really understand things better when they get a fist in their face. They just act different. So everybody started respecting me.
And it's mostly out of always about violent. I'm not saying you should not defend yourself or talk out or when things happen to you or when people attack you or when people go against it, but it mustn't be like violent, being like physical all the time, showing you that if you don't get physical, if you don't get violent with people, that people will not respect you. Life doesn't work that way most times.
At the age of 13, Ben claims that he fought 30 guys at once and they could not fully defeat him. Well, at least that's what I think. He changes the story a lot.
I got my ass kicked one time in my life. I was 13 years old. I got jumped by about 30 guys outside of a house party. When I was 13 years old, I got jumped by like 30 guys. They beat shit out of me. One hit me with a baton over the face. And that was the time that I stopped hanging out with people. And believe it or not, today, one of my best friends is a black guy. But at the time, it was literally people that I knew. And they jumped me, 30 guys. They were 17 and 18. I was 13.
I fought guys that were 7 foot tall, and I fought guys that were almost 400 pounds. I fought 10 guys at the same time and beat their ass. And I fought.
So you see how the story doesn't colorate, it keep changes. Like when you lie, you don't keep up to it. When you say the truth, it stands. But when you lie, you try and find a way to improve it every time you say same thing again and again. Like you see the lagging and you see this, you manipulating numbers and you trying to make up things to make that lie better at that particular point in time you were saying it.
40 guys, and I got jumped by them, and I was 13 years old. It did not matter how many people it was, how big you are, you could be 50 feet tall.
After developing a reputation for being a fighter, Ben said he joined the Russian mafia and started participating in underground fighting matches.
And eventually at the age of 18, I became one of the guys in the mafia. I was named the Kid, and it was the Russian mob. I started fighting underground fights.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's telling the freaking truth. You started kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, he was putting me in there with anybody. I told him, give me anybody, I'll eat their throat. I don't care who it is.
You were just a...
It was literally saying just...
My favorite part about Ben is that even though he portrays himself as a ruthless, vicious fighter, he does show his deep insecurities for his height. Standing at a mere 5 foot 7 inches, he justifies his height by comparing himself to some of the worst men in human history.
Height doesn't mean anything. It's 5'6". Having
And the truth is that things that doesn't work against them, they tend to force or they to go against those things. Like can't have everything in life. You don't have it, you don't have it. You don't have the height. Nobody beats you. Nobody go against you that you don't have. You are not the only one on earth that is average or that is short. But you don't have to make a big deal out of it all the time.
Your limbs do not make you any better. You ever seen Putin? 5'6".
Yeah.
Joseph Stalin? 5'7.5".
Anyways, while he was participating in underground fights at age 18, he was also arrested, which led to some prison time.
And I got arrested for something that they said that I did. and I didn't do it. And when I got out all clean after I spent a little bit of time in jail, I said, I'm never coming back here again.
Remember this because we would later find out why he actually went to prison, and it was much worse than fighting. After his stint behind bars, Ben says he went to China where he trained with Shaolin monks, who taught him some interesting ways to strengthen his bones.
And they explained to me that the strongest part of the body is actually your skull. And if you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is, which means that you become unstoppable, indestructible.
I actually do believe that Ben would regularly bang his head against the wall, because only someone who did that would manufacture his online persona by using plots from Fight Club,
So like if banging his head against the wall mean like you dysfunction his brain or anything like, oh, they were just like it's always funny when they talk at times that most of them tell you like you have to do this, you have to do like 100 push-ups a day, you have to do like 4 leg walk a day, like 400 leg walk a day. You have to, they are always have that thing they say they do. But Ben Patrick said that they keep that you believe the guy hitting his head on the wall like
Karate Kid and Kung Fu Panda and think that we were going to believe it. It's very clear that Ben is trying to make his childhood sound more interesting than it actually was, but he lies so much that he can't even keep track of his own contradictions. Now, it is possible that some of his story could be true, but there are so many things that contradict each other to the point where it makes it seem like everything is a lie.
yeah, at some point there will be a substance of truth in what they are saying, but they do overhype it, making it look like making it sometimes fall in the lying part because when you add to things and things that were not as it's supposed to be from the beginning, when you add to it, it tends to contradict some things and people tend to ask questions about it. Okay, when you put A and B together, it doesn't correlate. So, but A might have happened, but the B you are putting there might not have happened.
Firstly, he said he started his own business shortly after being released from prison and was making 50 grand a month by the time he was 20, thus making him able to retire by age 24. But Ben has also claimed that he worked for a top secret counterterrorism unit for over 10 years.
I told you, I worked in counterterrorism for over a decade. So for me, I wasn't allowed to be even on social media or any of these things. And even today, I'm not allowed to even speak about what unit I was in, things like that for the next 5 years. I can't share it with anybody. But
There's a lot of people out there that would say, now that's where I'm calling bullshit.
that's fine. Nobody cares. I
And
don't
it's
care.
convenient that no, you can't talk about it so no one can verify.
Well, there's units that are called invisible units.
I'm not doubting you. I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't care.
But if I were to question it, I would say, well, wait a minute. At 17, you were homeless. At 18, 19, you were cleaning carpets. Then you got into
I got out of
telemarketing. Yeah, then you started doing real estate. You started investing here and there. That was only 10 years ago. So when was the counterterrorism?
Yeah.
And who is it for? The Israeli army?
Well, it's Israel and the United States who work with both.
That's the
Because
CIA.
No. Counterterrorism is a little bit different.
Well, you had to be with somebody.
Yeah, but you can't talk about who I was with. Come on.
Now, if he
This is not a matter of no can't talk about it because they ask you a real question there. You can't even say anything there. You can't even defend yourself there. Like you keep saying you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. Like between these 10 years that this thing happened, within the 10 years, how, when, and where did this thing happen? Like you say, you can't talk about it. You can't talk about it. You didn't even address the question that you are being asked.
truly retired at age 24, then he would have had to start working in this alleged counterterrorism unit at the age of 14. This also means that he would have been working in this position while he was going to high school, fighting in underground cage matches, living with Chinese monks, and also being locked up in prison. And since we can't tell what is actually a lie and what is the truth, it's easy to assume that his lifestyle of endless riches, mansions, and sports cars are also greatly embellished. Taking a look at his personal website, Ben claims to have made his $150 million fortune selling patents. I was only able to find 2 published patents under the name of Benjamin Azoulay, both of which were filed in 2020. Even if we were to assume that both of these patents somehow sold for a grand total of $150 million, they were filed well after his 24th birthday, which he claims at that point was when he was able to retire due to his endless riches. I'm fairly certain that this is a completely different person with the same name, and Ben has no history of selling patents at all. He also claims in his biography to have had an active role in 16 different businesses that have generated $500 million in sales, as well as claiming to have won multiple awards for both bodybuilding and cage fighting. I tried to find any evidence of these claims and came up with absolutely nothing. But at the end of the day, even the most simple framing of Ben's life doesn't make sense. If he truly made 150 mil and was able to retire at age 24, why is he trying to sell people a self-improvement course online?
This is where I go against everything. This is the particular place I, anytime it's being mentioned, I go against it. Like these guys will tell you that we have millions in dollars, we don't care about, we don't give a f about what you are saying or what you think about us. We are living fine. can afford everything. We can afford the Lambos, we can afford the gold and diamonds, but they keep selling the cheap courses to you on how to be a better man. Like you are progressing life, you are processing life the way they did, and they want to sell a course to you on how to become a champion, on how to become a better man. I don't understand how that's work.
According to Ben, it's because he wants to impart his wisdom to young men and help them become strong and successful like he claims to be.
There's nothing that could impress me. I don't care.
And there is always a thing about the size. So
You have a Bugatti, you have a private jet, you have a yacht. I've seen it all. I don't care for it. I care for people now. And what I do for many years now is coach people, help guys not to go through the things that I went through. You could be a strong man. You could be a tough guy. You could be an alpha, but you got to do it right.
This sentiment, as nice as it sounds, doesn't hold much weight. Someone who made $150 million would not be selling a course.
Yeah,
The course
sure.
he's selling is funding the mansions, cars, and lifestyle he portrays. But there is one thing Ben is telling the truth about. He did in fact spend time in prison, although he hasn't been fully honest about how he ended up there. A YouTuber named John Bravo Films was able to uncover court documents revealing that Ben was sentenced to prison after he, his brother, and his friends took turns brutally assaulting a 15-year-old girl while she was intoxicated. Without getting into specifics, the court documents tell an unbelievably violent and graphic story that resulted in the young girl becoming both mentally and physically scarred from the event. Once the girl was able to escape the men, she called the police and the three were arrested. Ben was 18 years old and thus tried as an adult. He also admitted his guilt in open court. Ben vehemently denied all of the information that John Bravo revealed and responded exactly how you would expect him to. He basically said he's being canceled by The Matrix.
Now it looks like I pissed off a lot of people, guys. A lot of people. So many because I became so influential so quick. And I'm literally one of the most talked about influencers in the world today that I got to the point that they're putting out a lot of false information about.
why people talk about it the most is because how controversial you are. Like people tend to ask questions about you. It's not like you are that big or you are that important. People question you. You get popular by being controversial. You get popular by the wrong or the right reasons. Like you see them when people tend to fact check them and find things against them, and they will be like, "Ah, the matrix is coming for us. No, this and that." Like, man,
A lot of bullshit. But you see, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm going to say this. It looks like the Matrix is attacking me.
But the pressure from those online
Yeah,
was
The
too
Matrix.
big for Ben to ignore. So he further elaborated in a now deleted video where he claims the entire situation was made up. He claims that the girl in question filed a $15 million lawsuit, and rather than spending hundreds of thousands in lawyers' fees, they settled for a much smaller amount under the agreement that he pled guilty. The story completely contradicts what is verifiably written in the court documents, as they directly claim that the nurses observed physical signs of SA all over the girl's body. Unsatisfied with his response, John Bravo continued exposing Ben, revealing that this was not even the first time Ben was charged with SA. The court documents clearly state that Ben and his brother Dylan had a past history of charges for SAing underage intoxicated girls. King Azoulay has continued to try and define exactly what really happened, but whenever he clarifies things, it doesn't exactly make him look better.
I was never convicted of oral copulation with a minor. I was 18, she was under 18, and I agreed to take a plea deal that I got a job from her. They were trying to teach me a lesson because a year before that, when I was underage, I had a fight with my ex-girlfriend. She cheated on me. I got hell of upset and I smacked her in the back of the head.
Recently, he has accused his most prominent detractors, including John Bravo, of hiring a hitman to take out his mother.
but you see, like when it was mentioned the first time, the charges, the court document was brought out the first time, you denied it and said the matrix were against you, like they were coming for you, and now you are admitting the same thing that you denied previously. So
These men are not the ones that I worried about so much. It's about this email that I received this morning. An email that sounds like it's coming from a hitman. This kind of an email describes exactly what they're going to do to my mother.
The email Ben shows is almost certainly completely fabricated, coming from an email address that doesn't even exist, meaning Ben made this entire thing up just to paint himself as the victim. Now, whatever credibility he has left is certainly gone, and still to this day, Ben is trying to rebrand from being known as a fraud and a violent abuser, much like Wes Watson, who was once seen.
So these are the end. This is what you see. Like they tend to say you are alpha man, alpha male. Like, oh yeah, you should do this. You should live your life like this. If you don't live your life like this, you don't get this. Like we are in this life to explore and to experience life differently. To go to pathway to live life and have experience. Like if you want to advise, you advise. Like everybody takes advice. I'm open to advice when I'm doing things the wrong way and you want to show me the right way, but don't impose things on me. Like if this video improved you and if you have anything to share, just put it on the comment section. I would like to hear your opinion. Thank you.